What's up, guys? D-Rock 1992 here. For this next video, I'm going to be talking about one of the weirdest actors in all of Hollywood. He's a big star, but he has gained a reputation over the years for playing very weird, very eccentric characters. And he's received critical acclaim for it before. Lately, it hasn't gotten as much critical acclaim because he's played pretty much weird, eccentric characters overall. But no doubt about it, this guy is talented. He's a big star in Hollywood. The guy I'm talking about, Johnny Depp. I haven't actually seen a lot of movies of Johnny Depp, with Johnny Depp before. I've seen a couple. So, I mean, I'm going to be talking about some of these movies that I haven't seen. A lot of them, but yeah, I mean, the guy's a big star, and without further ado, I'm going to get right into it. With his film career. And he debuted in 1984 with the classic horror movie A Nightmare on Elm Street. That was his first film appearance. It was a supporting role, and got him a little bit of notice. 1986, he stars in the movie Platoon, the Oliver Stone film with Charlie Sheen. He has a supporting role in the film. And then in television, his biggest success in television was 21 Jump Street from 1987 to 1990. He appeared in 21 Jump Street. And he appeared in 70 episodes. The series itself went for 5 seasons and 103 episodes. A big success, definitely. But he gained a status as a teen idol in 21 Jump Street. He didn't want that perception put on him that he's a teen idol. He didn't want that when he was starring in 21 Jump Street. Didn't want to be typecast in that type of role. So he takes one of the weirdest roles of all time in movie history, I would argue, and one that is his breakout role, 1990's Edward Scissorhands. This movie is weird. I mean, I've never seen it, but it is weird. I mean, he plays a guy who has scissors for hands. He's a weird, goth-looking type character, and it's just, he's strange, he doesn't fit in society. It's a movie also directed by Tim Burton. Johnny Depp and Tim Burton have worked together a lot in their career. They're a great actor-director duo. And Edward Scissorhands was the first, I believe, of their collaborations together. And, I mean, it has a message. You know, Edward Scissorhands was a guy not accepted in society, looking to be accepted in society, and there are a lot of people like that are struggling to be accepted in society, and who want to be accepted in society. So Edward Scissorhands was a big breakout role. Another big role for Johnny Depp was 1993's What's Eating Gilbert Grape. This movie, I think, is more memorable for Leonardo DiCaprio's performance as a mentally retarded, the mentally retarded brother of Gilbert Grape. Johnny Depp plays Gilbert Grape, and he's the main star. And this movie is big. I mean, it's a good movie to a lot of people. I've never seen it, but it's a good movie to a lot of people. In 1994, he stars in the movie Ed Wood, which is a biopic, and this is about a guy who I think is considered like one of the worst directors of all time, a cult filmmaker. And so he starred in the movie, and it wasn't a big box office success. It was not a big box office success, but I think it was a critical success. But he starred in that movie. 1995, he stars in Don Juan DeMarco as the main guy, along with Marlon Brando. which is pretty cool. Marlon Brando was a big star in the 60s. Of course, everybody knows Marlon Brando as the Godfather in the first Godfather movie. Vito Corleone. But yeah, another movie there where he really shows his acting chops, Don Juan DeMarco. 1997, he appears in Donnie Brasco. Donnie Brasco is one that I really want to see. It has him and Al Pacino. You work with a legend like Marlon Brando, and you work with another legend like Al Pacino, you know you've made something of your career. That's a movie I want to see. It's a mob-type movie, I believe. 1998, he appears in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas in a starring role, I believe, along with Benicio del Toro. A guy on the, I think he's a guy on the brink of suicide or something like that. I've never seen the movie, but in 1999, he appears in Sleepy Hollow as Ichabod Crane. And Ichabod Crane is a famous character in book lore. You know, it was a short story in 1820 by Washington Irving. Johnny Depp stars as Sleepy Hollow, Ichabod Crane, rather. And it's another movie, I believe, directed by Tim Burton. And it's a success. I mean, I think it's a success, definitely. I haven't seen it, but in 2001, he stars in a movie I have seen from him. The movie Blow, which is a true story, based on a true story about a drug dealer named George Young, who at first dealt marijuana, then he started getting into the cocaine business, and he really took off from there. It has Johnny Depp and Penelope Cruz as the main love interest. And it's definitely a story of rags to riches, kind of. It's kind of the story of boy makes it rich, a guy makes it rich by getting into the drug business, and then loses it all eventually. And this is what the story is about. And it's a good movie. Blow is a movie I definitely would recommend. In 2003, he stars in the movie Once Upon a Time in Mexico, which has some stars, Antonio Banderas being one of them, and Salma Hayek also in the movie. And then he starts in 2003 in his best known role, definitely. He starts in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. These are the 4 movies in the series. First of all, Pirates of the Caribbean Curse of the Black Pearl came in 2003. Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest came in 2006. At World's End came out in 2007. And then 2011 On Stranger Tides came out. And then you're going to have another Pirates of the Caribbean movie coming out pretty soon. This is his best known role. He plays Captain Jack Sparrow, a very eccentric pirate. These are definitely more family friendly in some aspects. You know, you can take the family to go see it. You don't take little kids, I would say, but teenagers, young 10, 12-year-old kids probably, you could take them to see the movie, and, you know, more family friendly, but it is Johnny Depp's best known role. He stars in Finding Neverland in 2004 as J.M. Barrie, the writer of the Peter Pan series, the Peter Pan book. Or a playwright. He was a playwright, and then he created the character of Peter Pan. 2005, he stars in a movie that gets knocked on a lot, but I really liked it. It was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which is a remake of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory that came out in the 70s with Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka. In this one, Johnny Depp plays Willy Wonka, and I gotta say, Johnny Depp is creepy as hell in this movie, but he makes it work, in my opinion. It's a good movie. He's believable as Willy Wonka. He's definitely the main guy. And no matter, it's called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but really he is the main guy. And Johnny Depp does a good job in the movie. In 2007, he comes out with a critical success for him, and a box office, I think, Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, another eccentric character for Johnny Depp. Another Tim Burton film as well. 2009, he appears in Public Enemies, which is it's a departure from his eccentric type roles. He plays Don Dillinger, the gangster, in the movie. He's the main star. Christian Bale also in the movie. And it's a success, definitely. It's a crime film. It kind of gets back to his role in Donnie Brasco and, kind of Blow. He was in the organized crime and all that. And then he appears in the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, which is a very strange role, to say the least. Definitely, it's a fantasy film. I think another eccentric role for Johnny Depp. He stars in the remake of the classic book, Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland, I remember as the animated film in the 1950s that was good. It was a book back in the old days. Lewis Carroll wrote the book. It was a fantasy novel that came out in 1865, and Johnny Depp was in it. And another Tim Burton film. It made a ton of money, but I don't think critics really liked it as much. Definitely an eccentric remake. He played the Mad Hatter in this movie, which says a lot about the kind of characters that Johnny Depp does play. In 2010, he stars in The Tourist with Angelina Jolie. That movie is kind of a thriller espionage type film, and I don't think it did very well. 2011, he appears in a voiceover role in the movie Rango. Not his first voice appearance. He had appeared in a 2005 movie, Corpse Bride. But significant because Johnny Depp doesn't do a lot of voiceovers. 2011 also, he stars in The Rum Diary. This one is significant because it stars him and Amber Heard, who is engaged to be married to Johnny Depp, despite the fact that Johnny Depp could be Amber Heard's father. Johnny Depp is in his 50s. Amber Heard, I think, she is 28, and Johnny Depp is... How old's Johnny Depp? 51. So Johnny Depp could be her father, but he's marrying her. He's getting married to her. Apparently, New Year's Eve they're gonna get married. But Amber Heard's a model and actress. But yeah, The Rum Diary is one that they both starred in together. I think they met each other during this movie and started dating around this time. Also in 2011, he appears in an uncredited cameo as himself in the Adam Sandler movie Jack and Jill. He appears in an uncredited cameo in the film adaptation of the series 21 Jump Street, which made Depp popular. The movie also called 21 Jump Street. He appears as his character in the 21 Jump Street TV series. In 2012, he appears in the movie Dark Shadows, another eccentric film. Yet another one. Um, and it's one that's directed by Tim Burton yet again, and made a lot of money at the box office. A movie that I have seen that has been critically panned was in 2013, The Lone Ranger. I thought this movie was good, and I thought it attracted some controversy because Johnny Depp plays a Native American Indian named Tonto. The Lone Ranger is from a TV series way back in the day, adapted into a movie. While the movie didn't do very well, I liked Johnny Depp's performance in The Lone Ranger. I thought he was funny. I thought he was believable as Tonto. He did a good Indian accent, Native American accent. He was good. I liked it. Maybe I'm one of the few, but I liked the performance. This year, he starred in one of the biggest disappointments of 2014. I've never seen it. I've heard it's boring. It's a bad film. Transcendence. Him and Morgan Freeman are the main characters in the movie. The main stars. The people you've heard of. Transcendence is that movie where he's a doctor and he gets sucked into a television, or sucked into a television reality, something like that. But the movie was not very critically well received. It was a failure. It was an anticipated film, but it was a failure. He starred in the horror movie Tusk, also in 2014. It was a horror film, and it was a supporting role. And it was a talked about performance. Apparently, he appeared in the movie, and it was talked about that he appeared in that movie. A movie that's in theaters now, Into the Woods. He plays a supporting role as the wolf. Another eccentric character for Tim Burton. It's directed... Actually, it's not directed by Tim Burton. It's directed by Rob Marshall, another director. But it's another eccentric character for Johnny Depp. It's an all-star cast, too, in Into the Woods. Meryl Streep, Emily Blunt, Anna Kendrick, Chris Pine. It's a big cast. And 2014's probably been an up-and-down year for Johnny Depp, in particular. He has some films coming. Like I mentioned before, Pirates of the Caribbean 5 is in production, I believe, now, and is slated to come out probably in another couple of years, 2015, 2016, something like that. There is a movie that looks interesting with him playing an eccentric character yet again, called Mordecai, that's coming out next year. It just looks like an interesting film. It has him and Gwyneth Paltrow, Ewan McGregor, Jeff Goldblum, Olivia Munn. It looks like an interesting film. It's an action comedy film. And it's adapted from a book anthology, the Mordecai Trilogy. And it's going to be released January 23rd. It's a movie I'm looking forward to seeing in January. I actually would like to go see that. Another one coming out, London Fields, which is in post-production. It is going to be a small role, a very small role for Johnny Depp. And Amber Heard is going to be in the movie as well. And the movie is going to be about a writer played by Billy Bob Thornton, terminally ill writer who has suffered from writer's block for 20 years. Mordecai, juggling some angry Russians, the British MI5, his impossibly leggy wife, and an international terrorist, debonair art dealer, and part-time rogue Charlie Mordecai must traverse the globe armed only with his good looks and special charm in a race to recover a stolen painting rumored to contain the code to a lost bank account filled with Nazi gold. It looks like a very interesting type of plot for the movie. And I hope the movie's good. Definitely. I will definitely. I'm looking forward to going to see it. In 2015, also, he's going to appear in... Actually, let's see. Mordecai is going to appear in January. London Fields is going to appear next year at some point. They don't have a release date for it yet. Also, Black Mass in 2015. That's going to come out September 18th. And Johnny Depp is going to be a starring... It's going to be another starring role for Johnny Depp. It's much like... Johnny Depp's going to play the Whitey Bulger, who I believe was a gangster way back in the day. Organized crime figure. But yeah, he's going to play that role. Johnny Depp's going to play that role. Kind of like his role of John Dillinger in Public Enemies. A pretty good cast around him, too, with Black Mass. So look for that out in 2015. It's going to be another one called Yoga Hosers. Johnny Depp's going to be the star guy. And, let me see here. Black Mass, does that have a... It's based on a book. Black Mass is actually based on a book. Yoga Hosers, let's see here. Yoga Hosers, the plot for it. It's an action-adventure film. And it is a spin-off of the movie Tusk that Johnny Depp appeared in. Premise. The film centers on 15-year-old yoga nuts Colleen Collette, who's played by Lily Rose Depp, who I assume is Johnny Depp's daughter, and Colleen McKenzie, Harley Quinn Smith plays her, who have an after-school job at a Manitoba convenience store called Ed to Zed. When an ancient evil rises from beneath Canada's crust, and threatens their big invitation to a grade 12 party, the Colleens join forces with a legendary manhunter from Montreal named Guy Lapointe, who is played by Johnny Depp. Lily Rose Depp. I'm going to check that out. Lily Rose Depp, I believe, is Johnny Depp's daughter. But yeah, I think it looks like another eccentric type film for Johnny Depp, who is definitely well known for those types of roles. And then he will star in the sequel to Alice in Wonderland from 2010, Alice in Wonderland Through the Looking Glass. Johnny Depp supporting role in the film. Anne Hathaway's going to be in it. Helena Bonham Carter. It will be the sequel. And look for that May 27th of 2016. So that's it for Johnny Depp's film career. He has had a very eccentric, very wild film career in his a very weird, very eccentric film career. Definitely. Playing weird and eccentric characters. But also playing straight characters, definitely. More, he's played mob characters, he's played weirdos, he's definitely done it all. And he's still a superstar because of that. You know, he's directed a little bit, he's produced. In television, really his big thing was 21 Jump Street from 1987 to 1990. He appeared on an episode of King of the Hill in 2004, the animated series, SpongeBob SquarePants in 2009, and Family Guy in 2012 as the voice of his character Edward Scissorhands. That's been pretty much it for television. He first made it big, and his breakthrough was 21 Jump Street. His breakout was Edward Scissorhands, definitely. he's had a very good career, no doubt about it. He has definitely made it in Hollywood, playing those weird, eccentric characters that a lot of people like, definitely, and a lot of fans stick to, for sure. And that's it for my Johnny Depp video. D-Rock 1992 out.